How's everybody doing? It's my first official stream on the Joey Uncut channel. I'm excited, man, for a new journey above. And today I have a fucking banger in which I have been cooking up. As you can see, no one was here earlier, but had a technical difficulty setting this up. But now I am good to go with the tier list video of TV shows. I was actually inspired to make this because Stranger Things just ended last week, and a little part of me was like, should I wait for to see whether these theories are true I've been hearing about? But I decided not to. So now I'm going along with this right here. We have 45 shows I have watched. Right? And to preface this, there's no cartoons and there's no anime here. Just straight live action TV shows. It's good. I hope I didn't miss any shows I've watched, but these are the ones that I can remember on the top of my head. Cool, cool. Alright, starting up, we am gonna start with, well, in order, right? As it presented to me. We got Loki. Now, thing about Loki, I watched the first season, so technically speaking, it would be and didn't finish. But based on that first season alone, I'm gonna rank every show based on the what I did watch. The whole TVA plot, everything about Loki was fan fucking tastic, and I heard season two is even better. So based on what I watched, I'm going based on what I watched, now based on what I heard. Loki season one, generally speaking, might be up there with some of the best superhero shows ever, superhero seasons ever. 100%, it's 100% up there. And if you haven't watched Loki and you're into the Marvel universe, whatever, I recommend watching it. I'm getting around to watching season two eventually, but season one, 100% goes into the A tier. 100%. Now, moving on, we got All American. Now, let me tell you, a couple years ago, I was in high school. This shit was a shit right here. Everyone was watching All American at one point in their life. At one point or another, you watched All American, and whether you enjoyed it or not, I don't know. But everyone eventually just stopped watching it because the show itself got so stale, so boring, and so out of touch with football. There wasn't much football being played anymore. It was the same thing over and over again, more drama, more bullshit. And for a little part of me, for nostalgia's sake, wants to put it in B. I mean, it's not a dog shit show. I mean, the first couple seasons felt like it was good, like a good TV show. But the longer you keep watching, the more so you realize the show isn't actually that good. So for now, I'm gonna put it in B, but it could end up falling. You know what? What I am gonna do is make a new tier. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a new tier. This one could be black. Oh no, black doesn't work. Let's go blue. This is gonna be the C tier. These are gonna be the shows that are all right. Yeah, I think this is perfect. Because it's not dog shit, but it's not B either. It has to be in that C range. Okay, it isn't a great show. It isn't a good show. It's just eh. If you're into football, the first couple seasons were kind of like, you know, give you a good time. But after that, it takes a big, big shitter. Absolute stinker about All American. Now, once Upon a Time, honestly, for me, was one of the first shows I ever watched. Right? I came out when I was like, what, like 6 years old? 7 years old. I was 7 years old, actually. When Once Upon a Time came out. Phenomenal show. But for me, I like to rank endings of shows, especially watch them start to finish. The ending of a show matters so much to me, generally speaking. And that last season, oh my god, that last season was terrible. When I say that last season had to have been, like, I don't believe in the idea of a show having a last season without the main character. And after Emma left, the show just took a whole dip. You can't have a show with the main character gone. It just doesn't work. But off the first six seasons, I believe it was seven seasons total. The first thing I put an A. I feel it's such a unique show. The fact that they bring fairy tales into kind of real life ish, still bond. It's such a unique show. I recommend watching it. But based on the ending alone, I have to put it to B. The last season really, really fucked me up, man. It really fucked me up. And for those of you who haven't watched Once Upon a Time, I recommend it. Great show. It's 100% a great show. Just don't expect much when you hit the last season. Drop all expectations, and you still won't reach it. Trust me. Didn't like it at all. But the very last scene left hope for them to have a whole like I guess spin-off. Never happened. It's been like what, like 6 years now. This is year seven, and then it's when it's year seven. The way they ended it made it seem like, oh, there might be a spin-off, there might be a show later down the line. We're 7 years removed. Probably not gonna happen. It's staying in B tier. Now we got Squid Games. The thing about Squid Games is that I didn't finish it. First of all, didn't finish it. Right, and I've tried on multiple occasions. I've tried. That first season, I just cannot get through it. I've tried multiple times, over and over again, but the premise of the show just doesn't really interest me. And I've tried multiple times. I got half through the season every time, and not it never caught my attention. Never felt like, oh, I have to keep watching. I didn't really enjoy it. I believe it was kind of dog shit. I just watched it because how hyped up it was. I didn't watch because it caught my attention at all. If there was no hype behind the show, I would never tune into it. Never would have clicked on it at all. For those of you who enjoy it, hey man, this is what it is. I heard the ending was ass, but it's just not for me, man. It's just not. I've tried on multiple occasions. A lot of people tried. People try to force me to watch it with them. It just didn't work. Squid Games, it just isn't a show for me. This idea of the of people's lives being based around playing like I guess like red light, green light. I mean, you know, ah, I don't know. Just not for me. Iron Fist though I did finish regretfully, forcefully. Save yourself the headache. I understand if you watch that entire like verse, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil. If you watch the rest of those shows, like oh, then watch Iron Fist, you're not missing out on anything. Do not do that to yourself. I beg you. This right here is the epitome of the bottom tier of bottom tiers of TV shows, superhero TV shows. Terrible. I don't even want to like. There's nothing really spoiled. Like it's just a bad show. Compared to the other three, it's such a bad show. Now, How You Met Your Mother. It's in a weird. Can I watch How You Met Your Mother like two times? I believe. Yeah, watch it twice. I watched it like 3, 4 years ago, and I rewatched it just last year. Hold on. I rewatched it 3, 4 years. Yeah, watched it for the first time 3, 4 years ago. Rewatched it just last year, and it's still a really good like, I guess sitcom show. But they have no laugh track and all that. But it's such. I mean, listen, you get exactly what you're clicking on with this, right? It's like a Friends esque type of thing with the comedy and all that. You know exactly what you're getting. Four friends hanging around. Yeah, right. Bunch of friends hanging around in a goddamn bar instead of a coffee shop like Friends. Um, for me, then again, it's the last episode, the ending. You spend all this time building to who the mother is just for it to be someone and then going back to like the beginning. I don't want to spoil it because at the end of the day, it's still a good show. But the ending, dude, the ending. To the point where people had to like, where you had to redo the ending. You had to redo the ending of how bad the original ending was. You know how crazy that is? So just off of that, it's going into B. It's the same tier as Once Upon a Time. You start off so good, you build to everything, you have a shit ending, you crash and you burn. So therefore, you're going into B tier. But now, 13 reasons why. I watched a show one time and I watched it as it was coming out, obviously, right? Because all the hype was around it. I was really young at the time, and even then, I lost interest after the first season or two. Right? I'm like, why is this still going on? She's dead. The bitch killed herself in the bathtub in season one. If this shit ended off with one season, put it right here. But because it kept going and it kept going, I think what ended up being 4 seasons, right? If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, it ended up being 4 seasons. Uh, Let me find out exactly. 4 seasons, yeah. Honestly speaking, it just felt like they were trying to milk it for so long. I'm bordering between these two. Seeing because season one was really good. I not really good to understatement. It was a good season, right? Season one, it kind of met the premise of the show. You know exactly what you're getting into. But the more they went on, the further it went down. I'm debating. So for now, I will keep it at dog shit for now. If I feel like it could be bumped up to C, I'll bump it up. But based on what I remember, the show wasn't good. At some point, I even felt like I was young and I felt like I was dragging it on. Power, power, power. I think this show right here, I've watched maybe 5 or 6 times. It's unbelievably good, and I recommend it to anyone. Like if you're into anything with crimes, drama, action, anything, it got everything you really need. It has its highs and lows, obviously, like every show. 6 seasons long. A lot of people didn't really like the ending. I didn't either. I felt like they did it with the idea of needing a spin-off. That's the whole reason why they ended it the way they did. Which, like I said, it's like, but then it wasn't terrible. Like compared to Once Upon a Time, How I Met Your Mother, it definitely has a way better ending. Way better ending. But this is obviously me watching it so much. This is one of my top five shows. This is one of my top five shows of all time, and it's not even close. 100% top five. No arguments made. The ending felt a bit iffy, but the build to the ending though was really fucking good. You had everyone guessing what happened, who did it. Great show. Recommend it 10 out of 10. I'm probably gonna be rewatching it soon again. It's been like a year and a half since I last watched it. I'm gonna rewatch it again, cause why not, right? Now moving on to the Flash. If we're just going off the first 3 seasons of the Flash, it's A tier. Flash ended after the first 3 seasons, A. Generally, one of the greatest shows. One of the greatest superhero shows you could ever watch. The first 3 seasons. But after, it drops. You know, it's just slowly going down A more, going down to B. Then you end up in like C. Right? I'm only keeping it. It's not dog shit. I mean, season 5 to 9 is dog shit. Right? But just giving it the grace of the first 3 seasons, you gotta put it in B. Because those first threes are like genuinely so great. It's hard to have a show that captivate you so long with those first 3 seasons that you felt like everything was happening constantly. But then it just started getting worse and worse and worse and worse. That you ended up being what you have there, and the ending was absolute dog shit. If listen, what I'm about to say is not a spoiler. This is saving you guys the time. The fact that you brought back every single Flash villain to have them get beat like this, like they don't like we didn't see them spend 22 episodes in a season to struggle to beat them, just to get beaten in like 5 minutes, dude. It makes no sense. If you I don't even want to talk about the whole second half of Flash. It's completely awful. I tried rewatching it. I couldn't make it through it. I forced myself the first time around because off the simple fact that I was watching when I was younger. Rewatched the first 2 seasons just last year, and I tried to keep going, and I couldn't do it. Bringing the start of the downfall of the show was bringing his daughter from the future. It was just a whole bunch of bullshit, saving all the headaches, saving all the time. Flash goes and beats here. Now this is the last show I just finished watching, right? From start to finish, I saw on Netflix, so it was about to expire December 31st. I'm like, yo, let me finish this out in a month and a half, 6 seasons, knock it out. One of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life when it comes to watching TV shows. Oh my god. Lost has to be some of the greatest cinema of my life. Dude, every time I watch a season, I'm like, how can they top this? And they did. And going into the final episodes, dude, now, after watching Lost is why I was like, yo, I value endings so much. Because going into season 5, I'm like, season 6, I'm like, damn, I have so many questions going into this. What's going to happen now? And throughout the season, more questions kept piling on. What is this two timeline thing? What is going on? How is this going to end? And then seeing the last episode being an hour and 45, I'm like, ooh, surely they answer everything in an hour and 45. And that's exactly what they did. That little twist at the end. I don't want to give anything away for you guys who haven't watched the show. The little twist in the end had me in fucking tears. Yo, the ending had me in tears. Such a beautiful way to end the show. You close that chapter. You could never reopen it again that way. Just to give every fan of the show some kind of like closure. Okay, that's it. There's no loose ends. Everything just made sense. And you get the sense of, oh, like this is beautiful. Like and every time you watch, you pick up on more things and more things based on what happened before. It's such a oh my god, such a beautiful, but it's also a complex show. It gets more complicated the more it goes on. It doesn't just become surviving on an island. The island has magical. Listen, just watch it. It all makes sense. Top five, easily top five. Doesn't even. It's me explaining it. I didn't do a really good job explaining how good this show is. But trust me, this show is damn near 10 out of fucking 10. There isn't a miss. There's no season where you felt like it was slow. Every season was a fucking banger from start to finish. Lost has to be top five. And now Defenders. It's what it was, one season, 8 episodes long. I have it on here because I have the rest of the shows on here. It's as simple as the C tier. I mean, you bring the cast. You kind of have to watch it if you're watching Daredevil and all that because it all continues off of it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest. It's one season. You can't really weight that. You can't really weight it that heavily. So I think I'll put it at C. I think C seems fair. The Punisher. You know, I almost forgot about this show, and I'm so mad at myself. I almost forgot about it because this show is so Punisher. This shit is. It's like that whole like Marvel Netflix series thing had their highs and lows, and Punisher was one of their fucking highs. Was it an A tier? It's definitely the best out of all of these, right? It's definitely the best out of all of these. I'm not ranking the rest of this, but like, it's definitely the best. But is it up there with Loki season 1? I don't know. It's been a couple of years. My memory's a little foggy on it, but based on what I remember, Punisher had to be B tier. At the bare minimum, you start to understand a murderer, Frank Castle. You know, you understand what he does. It might be a little bit extreme, but you get it. You understand the anger, the vengeance, the need for revenge. You understand it all. And it's hard to captivate that with a person who's literally just he kills people. Well, like that's what he does. He's a murderer, but you sympathize with him. And the fact that made you feel his pain and understand what he's going through and really and feel with him, golden show. And now another one from the Netflix series. I think everyone understands where I'm going with this. A tier. A. Oh my god, Daredevil generally is the greatest superhero show of all time. And it's not close. The way that they just make you understand and kind of go through the growing pains of Daredevil, right? It's this dark, gloomy show where it's a blind guy fighting crime, but it's more than just that. You start to feel what he really like, what he feels. You know, you understand the anger he has for the world, the anger like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Even though the Disney Plus episode that just came out, season that came out last year, this wasn't really up to par with the whole Netflix series. But you gotta understand, it's been about half a decade. Give it some time. I think if they do continue with it, it'll be really good. But 100% A tier, 100%. Now Manifest, I watched the first 2 seasons. I didn't finish the last 2. Do I ever plan on going back to watching it? Probably not. Nothing about it interests me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. I think the idea of people getting lost, you know, like what it was like they were gone they blipped away for 5 years. Like they come back, everyone's older. Everyone thought everyone just died. They come back. 5 years has passed in the future. I mean, it's not dog shit. It's all right. You know, it's all right. Whatever we'll watch it, probably not. It's dead it there. WandaVision, one of the better Disney Plus shows, right? Obviously, Loki is like up here, and then WandaVision is like it's a solid show. It's definitely better than these three. The idea, you know, her living in her own world, her not knowing this is her. It's like a little bubble that they kind of captivated her in. It's a really good show. It's really good. It's really good to watch. It's really entertaining, right? It's a little spin at the whole black and white. Like it's a TV show than a TV show that everyone's watching. It's a pretty alright Disney Plus show. Could have been better 100%, but it was the start of it. It came out with Loki season 1. It came out with fucking Winter Soldier. So it was that first season ish. You had to ease it in, and I felt like they did a really good job easing it in. And now the secondary sitcom one here, right? Full House. Full House, Full House, Full House. Ah, damn. How do I even rank this? Because obviously it's a classic, right? It's a family classic. It's not like cinema. So I think I have to like rank it amongst its peers. And is it like the best like family sitcom ish? No, it really isn't. It it wasn't the best for me. Was it bad? No. But was it like an A tier sitcom? That's debatable, you know. It might. Yeah. Do you put Full House? You gotta put. So based on just sitcoms, it's A tier, right? If I'm basing on TV shows in general, I'll probably put it in B. Right? It's definitely better than How I Met Your Mother. So I'm putting Full House on one, as that like that realm of show. At A, it's definitely up there as A tier type of sitcom. Yeah, yeah, catching my drift here. Alright. Now the 100. Another show I didn't finish. I didn't finish it not because of no, I literally just because I it just stopped making any sense. Once we started going to space, once we found this new land, it just felt like okay, what the fuck are we doing now? It felt too excessive. I think it ended already. I really do want to go back and rewatch it. I really do. I gotta find the time because maybe I am. Bro, when they killed Monty in space, that shit pissed me off. I simple as that. I watched a little bit after that, but once Monty died, it was like, oh, okay, why? You know why? So I'm gonna put it. Shit, I gotta put it in B, right? Cause it's an alright show. It's not terrible, right? It's not terrible at all, but it's definitely on the same par of these. I would say I didn't finish it, so I can't say. But based on I remember the first like 2 or 3 seasons, the whole like mountain season was fire. The first season was fire. Maybe I'm misremembering things. Maybe the order of things I remember them being in space for a little bit. Remember that whole season. Didn't like that one at all. Like I said, I think a B for right now seems fair. Parks and Rec, yeah, this is like epitome of bad sitcom. It's not bad. Chris Pratt was definitely the highlight of it all. Um, well, to say that it was good, I want to say that, but it's definitely no dog shit. Save your time. Don't. Is it? Yeah, dog shit. Yeah. I'll never ever in my life tune back onto Parks and Recreation. Never. There isn't a part of me that's like, oh, let me go watch these certain moments. Probably anything to do with Chris Pratt. Outside of that, nothing about Parks and Rec really was good, right? It just felt like what I believe her name was Leslie, right? I don't remember it, but her as a main character didn't feel interesting to me. You know, Ron Swanson, way more interesting of character. Chris Pratt's guy, way more interesting. Right? Even what's her name? I forgot. Aubrey Plaza's character. Forgot what her name is. But even she was better than the main character. The main character herself made the show worse for me. Yeah, but dog shit. Never turn it back on. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is my favorite of all the sitcoms. Right? So if it's not a top five show for me, but it's as good as it gets. And the last season was rushed because of COVID. I don't think that was the original plan, but COVID hit, so they did a whole COVID season. It got too political that last season. I didn't like the last season at all. But I blame that one mostly on COVID because it was like what, like less than like around 10 episodes long, and everyone was in masks. You could just tell that it was just not really the most comfortable environment. I'm gonna put it off of its rewatch value, especially, is definitely A tier. You keep watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine over and over again, and it still has that like fresh feeling to it. So for me, it's an A tier sitcom. For you, it could be different, but for me, it's definitely A tier sitcom. Hawkeye, another one of those Disney Plus shows. I enjoyed it. Was it the greatest? No. Did the Nerf Kingpin? Yes. Um, I did like the idea of it being in New York. You know, the Christmas tree, Rockefeller, blah blah blah. Great, gr- great like atmosphere, but Kate Bishop as a main character, you know, it's a C tier show. It's a C tier show. I mean, there's not much more for me to be said there. It's not up there with the upper echelon of superhero shows, right? Amongst the rest of them, Daredevil's better, Loki's better, Punisher's better, WandaVision was better. And there's more down here I have that are better than Hawkeye. And now for the superstar of it all, Stranger Things. I want to talk about Stranger Things for a second because season one for me, generally speaking, it's up there with some of the best like season wise of a show you could watch. Because especially off the first watch you ever watch it back in like I started watching the show in 2017 and after it came out, you start to like it's a whole like you feel the mystery, you feel the like the stakes are high. That they have to find out where Will is. You want to know what the hell the upside down is. Where did 11 come from? What the hell are doing the upside down? What's Hawking Labs up to? You had so many questions that you needed to get that you wanted answers to, and you got the answers, but you understood the stakes of it all. With Barb dying and Will being suffering from PTSD from it all, and even more than just PTSD from it later on. But that season one generally, you get the iconic moments of Joyce talking to the lights, right? Will's dead body, Jonathan's, everything just felt perfect, right? That's as perfect as the original series can get, with with the main party. This is my main thing of the later seasons where Dustin, Mike, Will, and Lucas, you don't see them together as much, right? They start to make, I guess, like you see like in season four, Mike and Will were in Cali, and then Dustin was mostly with Steve. Lucas was like they weren't really all together at the same time, so you don't get the thing of the party. Season three also you have them with Dustin with the Russians majority of the time. You kind of don't get the sense of the party being together. Well, that was my biggest gripe later on in the seasons. And personally speaking, obviously season one is the best season, but my favorite season was season three. That's the most overhated season in my opinion, off the fact that people didn't like the fact it's a little more lively. But you understand that their point, how I took it was that they felt like they were more at peace because they closed the gate. They thought all harm was done. They didn't believe that there's a mind flayer collecting bodies, killing people left and right, boom, 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 boom. No one knew that. So it was more of a sense of peace in for the first couple episodes. I don't understand why I was rated so low compared to the rest of the series. But I really thought season 3 was really fun, lively. I had some great moments. Dustin and Steve killed it that season. The introduction of Erica and Robin being characters to the show. Murray taking on a bigger role. You kind of enjoy season 3, right? If you don't take it too literal, because I think people try to deep dive into it, and it definitely had its moments. Was it the best season? No. Was it the worst season? Fuck no. I'm gonna get to the worst season in a little second, because I have some big gripes with this. Also, season 2, I believe, was also overhated. Season 2 and 3 were overhated a lot. I don't get why. Maybe they weren't your favorite seasons, but they weren't bad seasons at all. Season 2 had some of the greatest, like, I guess, stakes of it all, right? Because you you kind of just want to like understand what is going on with Will. Like you have so many questions, and all these questions kind of get answered in a way, but they don't. With also Bob dying, and season 3 Billy dying, So they had this thing of, and then by season 3 you start to realize, okay, they kill characters off that aren't really part of the main cast. That's you start getting that kind of vibe from season 3. So you're like, oh, going to season 4, they're probably aren't going to kill anyone off, and that's what ended up happening. They kind of introduce a character, make you love him or her, kill the character. That's the kind of the plot line they went throughout the whole season 4. Season 4 for me, oh yeah, season 3, I thought the show could have ended at the end of season 3, and it would have been fine. Elle didn't have her powers. Will and Elle went to California, and Hopper died. Right, you could have killed them off right there. The show would have smooth sailed because they closed the gate. Elle doesn't have her powers. They're in Cali, away from the Upside Down. Call it a day. Show ended. I don't think anyone would have been mad. Right, you solve all the problems. The gate's closed. Call it a day. But instead, you want to keep Hopper alive, keep him in Russia, and have majority of season 4 be Joyce, Murray, and Hopper. Mind you, Joyce and Hopper are supposed to be main characters. Right, season 1 was predicated on them figuring shit out, and they can't figure shit out when they're in Russia. So you spend majority of the season with them in Russia, just for them to come back in the last episode. It didn't really you kind of hid them away. Some characters people loved, you hid them away in Russia for majority of the season. Russia should have been wrapped up in 4 to 5 episodes. The last three should have been them back in Hawkins or in Cali. And also, I understand that the concept of piggybacking, but it's a widely known thing that people mostly only care about what was happening in Hawkins. A lot of people even completely skipped the whole Russians part of season 4. That felt too dragged on, too slow paced. I understand the hate for it. I didn't mind it personally, but I understand why you wanna, you know, dr- skip it. My biggest gripe with season 4 is that we knew Max wasn't gonna die. Right? Everyone knew it. Going into it, we know that they weren't gonna kill any major characters. Right? But how crazy of a twist would have been if they killed a major character? You feel me? But they were gonna do it. They don't have the balls to do it, but instead they kill a character that like everyone wants to like everyone loves throughout the season. Oh no, he's dead. You know, the same gripe they did for the last 3 seasons. Everyone knows what the deal is now, but you still kind of understand the horror that Vecna is, because he like Stranger Things started going down this horror around season 4. We know with limbs twisting, eyes getting gouged out, the backstory of Henry. You have so many iconic moments in season 4. Jamie, the actor of Vecna, killed in season 4. Oh my god, he was in his fucking Duffy. He was in his Duffy that entire season. That makes you wanna like, you kind of like, damn, we're really rooting against this guy. You kind of have to, obviously, but what a phenomenal actor. I would definitely give that season 4 probably second best season cinema wise, story wise, right? And then we get to after that amazing build up in season 4, you get to the final season of the show in season 5 that just wrapped up last week. And let me tell you guys how disappointed I fucking was. I was extremely disappointed that entire season from start to finish. It started off kind of strong, the first volume. You had your moments. The Turnbull Traps were my favorite season, probably my favorite scene in the entire season, right? And Will getting powers built up the whole volume 2, and then volume 2 just felt like, oh, this is just filler until the very last episode. It's all it really felt like. You kind of just want to push things along. Everything was dumbed down. So many plot holes. Nothing made sense. So many questions. No answers. And then you have 2 hours left, and there's still so many questions. So nothing to be answered. And you're just like, okay, what the fuck's going on? The entire cast is still here. You're 20 people fucking deep. You haven't killed a single person, and now you're sitting here and telling me, oh, we have 2 hours to wrap this bitch up. Are you being serious right now? And on top of that, when the final episode did end up starting, right? The entire the entire climax only the first hour. You tell me they wrapped up all those questions and everything in 1 hour? The fuck they did it, right? And then on top of the wait, see episode 7, you spend the last minutes Will coming out, making it seem like there's a big plot that they have to talk about this before the final episode. Like, oh, if I don't tell you guys this, Vector's using it against me. How? Why is that a major plot point? I understand trying to make him come out, but it being damn near 7 minutes long, and mind you, the final fight against the Mind Flayer and Vecna only took 6.5 minutes. Why the fuck was the final fight of the entire show shorter than Will coming out? Make that make sense, right? And you didn't bother killing off a single person. Nobody. Apparently, it was talked about, but oh, that wasn't the route they want to go. It goes to show you where everything wraps up to the point that this season felt like it had no stakes at all. Zero stakes at all in this entire season. It felt like they were just spitting in our faces, like, haha, no one's gonna die here. And every time they fake teased it when Hopper shot Ellen in the sensory tank, a lot of people would think, oh my god, he killed her. No, the fuck he didn't. He was clearly under Vecna's thing. That was obvious. Steve was falling. It was obvious he wasn't gonna die. There wasn't a single part of me that was like, oh, someone's gonna die this season. Nothing about it felt real. How funny would it have been though if they killed like Holly off rip? Speaking of Holly, why does she have the most screen time? You know, because when fucking Will was taken in season 1, he was barely in the fucking show. You barely seen him. The whole thing was about him, but you barely seen him. Season 5, you could have half their fucking screen time. There's no way she was getting more screen time than the rest of the fucking cast when they're the main characters of the show. I'm sorry, I understand the time about the spin-off. Fuck the spin-off. Focus on this show first. You completely ruined it by introducing Holly this late into the years. where she could have built throughout the seasons, slowly but surely made us care about her. No one gave a shit about her. I'm telling you, I didn't give a shit. Shit, if she would have died that last episode, I would not have cared. And how the fuck is Derek stronger than Vecna? When Henry was holding Holly by her leg, he could almost get the fuck out of here. Speaking of that, Jamie, another phenomenal season out of you. You outacted everyone else on the fucking cast. You outacted the fuck out of everyone on the fucking cast, and it wasn't even close. Actually, no, my favorite scene was when Max and Holly are trying to escape Kamzat, and then Holly's memory, and he's like going down the stairs, twitching, going from Mr. What's It to Henry to one to Vecna. That was fire. Jamie absolutely outdid himself, and it wasn't even fucking close. Right? There's so many plot holes. I can go on, and you know the ending to your show is terrible when people are coming up with conformity gate, right? As if there's a secret ending, secret episodes coming out tomorrow apparently, of Stranger Things. Apparently, new episodes coming out tomorrow, right? This alternate ending. We're all on the Victor's thing. I sense coping. Everyone's just fucking coping, right? Everyone's believing this theory of a new episode coming out. I don't believe it at all. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Shit, if this whole thing becomes a whole ploy for a new episode, fuck, you got me. You fucking caught me. But I doubt it. With that being said, ending of Stranger Things has to be up there, one of the worst endings I've ever watched. Overall, this show has to be B. With that being said, god damn, we're on like a 12-minute rant. Shit. If it wasn't for the last season, I would pull it A. I would definitely put it A. But because the last season was so dog shit, so many cringy scenes, so much things that could have went wrong that season went wrong. Nothing really made sense. I'm putting it in B. Black Lightning. Wow, this is the first one from the Arrowverse I'm reviewing. Off to a terrible start because this was one of the. This wasn't really one of the stronger, shows from the Arrowverse, right? It was definitely on the weaker end. Came towards the end of the Arrowverse. No, I read Flash already, right? Okay, so overall, super underwhelming. I mean, there's always so much you could do, especially when the show was abruptly ended, right? But I'll put it in C. Tobias, how fucking hilarious. But overall, yeah, C tier show. Would I recommend watching it? Probably not, unless you're rewatching the entire Arrowverse. Yeah, I mean, there has no really any rewatch value. It was alright at best. It wasn't really like anything I would write home about, you know? I wasn't go crazy about Black Lightning. There's always so much you could do. I mean, moving on to Prison Break. Now, let me tell you something about Prison Break. First season, shit, this S tier go up there. First season, obviously everyone knows Prison Break's first season is phenomenal, excellent, 10 out of 10. You can't do much better. But obviously, as it goes on, you start dragging on. It doesn't get terrible, don't get it wrong, but it doesn't live up to the hype of the first season. And having that last season come out almost 10 years after it wrapped up, you want to bring back the last season. For me, I know this might sound crazy, but it came out so much after the season before it that I'm not even counting it. The whole Yemen thing, I'm not counting it. It wasn't good. It wasn't great at all. It was all right. Cause that last season alone would probably bring it down to damn near here. But off the first couple seasons, I'm gonna put it at a A. Listen, it is definitely better than all of these shows, 100%. Right? I might move it down to B depending on what else I put here, but as of right now, it's an A tier show. Argue with the fucking wall. Fuller House, I'm saving all the time. I'm not gonna spend my energy, my breath, nothing. Fuller House is completely dog shit. I understand not being able to live up to the original, but holy shit, this is nowhere near the fucking original. Nowhere near the original. Dog shit. Save your time. Save your energy. Don't even bother. Sopranos. Don't even gonna say anything. One of the greatest pieces of fucking TV show you could ever watch. Debatably, the greatest TV show of all time, and it's not close. From the oh my god, I don't want to say too much without spoiling even a little bit. You can rewatch Sopranos over and over and over again and never get bored. Such a phenomenal show from top to bottom. Every single season had you on your feet. Every single season showed you what a TV show can really be. Oh, I don't want to say too much without giving up anything if you haven't watched the show. And trust me, you really should watch this fucking show. Absolute cinema, and it's not even fucking close. Top 5 shows of all time. In my top 5, debatably the greatest show of all time. Easily. Now moving on to Dexter. And now let me tell you something. I finished Dexter, right, this summer. Also my top 5. Un- I under I enjoyed every single season. Obviously some seasons better than others. Obviously the first 4 seasons, if you haven't watched it, peak, right? First season, and obviously after that, it's slowly starts to take the small dip. The ending of Dexter pissed me the fuck off, right? Pissed me the fuck off. Even though the show has one of the greatest twists in TV show history, in my opinion, season 4, episode 12, one of the greatest twists in TV show history. Still, that last episode, right? And mind you, wait, before I say all the spin-offs, rank them individually, not as all attached to Dexter. That's what they're all also on here. But I don't know what else to say except for the fact that that last season could have been better. I say that a lot about shows. Shows really don't know how to wrap up, do they? They don't know how to finish their fucking show properly. They built up for so long just to have it crash and fucking burn. Unbelievable. Dexter, though, the idea of understanding a murderer, right? To kind of understanding the idea of a serial killer, to kind of get that kind of concept of, oh, I know, I kind of get why he's killing, and it's kind of like the people he does kill, you kind of justified with, like, oh, I mean, it's a rapist, it's a murderer, he raped 4 kids. Why does he deserve to be in jail and not, So, I get it. I understand Dexter being who he is. Definitely my top 5 show. Show I will definitely rewatch sooner than later, especially with the next one coming up being Resurrection. Yo, they finished season 1 a couple months ago. All 8 episodes. Listen, Resurrection, generally speaking, might be debatably the greatest season of Dexter. I don't know how they managed to pull it off. Whole new cast, whole new everything, and you still, not whole new cast, but you get my point, right? You still feel it. They went from Miami to New York, and then still in being in New York, you feel that Dexter vibe. Even though it's you're in fucking New York, Miami is two different cities, but you feel the Dexter. You're back to being Dexter. You feel the ambitions. You feel the need, the urges. You feel it all, and you kind of and you're like, great fucking cinema. I'm so happy I picked up the show. Without trying to give up too much, 100% A tier. 100% A tier show. And depending on how season 2 goes, it can move it up. It can't move the top 5, but it could definitely move up higher in the A tier list, 100%. DC Legends of Tomorrow. Really enjoyed it. It's an enjoyable show if you take it with a grain of salt. Don't try to understand the story too much. That's all I can really tell you. It's not up there with these shows. It's a C tier at best. That's all I can really give you. It's a C tier at best. It's enjoyable. Not much story to it. Yeah, there wasn't much story to DC Legends Tomorrow. It was mostly just fun. It was just fun seeing them go through different time periods, different places in the world, and different years. That was a fun concept. But don't try to dive deep into the story too much. The Office. I watched it twice, right? And would I ever watch it again? No, I think I've passed that humor level. Nothing about The Office screams me to watch it again. It's definitely enjoyable for its time and a little bit after, especially when it first got to Netflix. Everyone enjoyed the fuck out of Office. I rewatched it twice. Probably never do it again. I put it at C tier, dude. I think it's kind of just lost its spark. It's kind of outdated at this point. Obviously, you have your moments with Jim and Dwight, but outside of that, it's like it's not really that time period for The Office no more. Not that like it still has its funny moments, but it doesn't hit the same as it would have like 10 years ago. You feel me? I don't know if you guys are trying to get my point here, but doesn't really hit like it used to. And now Riverdale, dog shit. The only thing good thing about Riverdale it had going for it was the fact that they had so many bad bitches, so many, unbelievable amount, and especially I was like what 12, 13 years old when I first watched it. Unbelievable amount. That's the only good thing it had going for it. I would never in a million years pick up this show ever again because of the simple fact it just isn't good. And I saw later on that they got superpowers. How the fuck does that make sense? How the fuck do they got superpowers now? I don't even want to know. I'm not even gonna bother. Dog shit. Don't waste your time. Save yourself the energy. Absolute stinker. Now moving on to Power Book 2. Mind you, I haven't watched any other book except for Book 1 and Book 2. Well, the original Power and Book 2. Book 2 Ghost obviously takes on the story of Tariq after the events of Power. You kind of see him being in college with his mom being in jail, and you kind of see him kind of take the role of his father, right? Really interesting story, but it felt more of the Tahada family than it did Tariq. It felt like it was more like Tahada family, which I didn't mind, but it was still really entertaining to watch from start to finish. It had its highs, its lows, its emotional moments. Got you really engaged with the characters, even though they're all new characters. It's a B tier, right? It doesn't live up to the height of Power, but it wasn't terrible. It would definitely was far from terrible. I'll put it in B tier, especially for a spin-off show. It did its job in a way. Could have been better to focus more on Tyreek instead of the Tara family, but it is what it is. Dexter New Blood. If you're talking about this show on its own, without it being in the Dexter universe, you, I think it's a B tier, right? It's not a bad show at all. But when you compare it to the original, which is based off obviously continuing the life of Dexter, it's a C tier. You don't get the Dexter vibe from the show. You really don't. You start to get the vibe of, oh, it's a good story, good build up, good twist at the end, but it just didn't feel like Dexter, right? A lot of people I do think it's kind of underrated and really overhated. But I understand, especially after watching Resurrection, you said to us, "Oh yeah, New Blood didn't really have the Dexter itch to it. You don't get the Dexter urges and the feel." So I'll put it at C tier. I don't think it's better than any of these. Put it at C tier. Arrow for me, this is the definition of a comfort show. 100%. I was sad to see it leave Netflix. The the cream of the crop when it comes to the Arrowverse, undeniable. The it started it all, right? You can't go wrong with Arrow. It started it all. The kind of got the grandfather to it all, right? The person who ushered in this new era of superhero shows. It birthed Flash, DC Legends, Black Lightning, what's it, Batwoman, right? It birthed all these shows that without it wouldn't exist. And although them spoiling the ending to season 8, the season prior, I wish they kept that a surprise. Still, ending was pretty good. Even though we all knew it was gonna happen. Even though what was it, Crisis on Infinite Earths wasn't the greatest. Was not a great send off. Top 5 show. Undisputably top 5 show. And that caps for the top 5. Now we have a couple more shows left, so let's just try to wrap this up because I'm already 15 minutes in. Suits. Listen, for a second watching Suits, I'm like, yo, I want to be a lawyer. It has that feel that like you're really intrigued in this show that didn't feel repetitive. My problem with shows like this, Criminal Minds, in general, like my thing is I thought Suits was gonna be Criminal Minds, where it was the sense of being repetitive, or like Law and Order. You kind of get the same thing over and over again, and I was kind of expecting out of Suits, but it wasn't that. You kind of knew The story felt fresh. It felt new. It felt different. You kind of enjoyed that. It kept you captivated up until the last season when they decided to keep it going without Mike Ross being there. How? Why do shows do this? Why? Why have a last season without the main characters and the fucking show? Right? Even he said himself he felt his character was complete. So complete the fucking show. It's based off of him. But still, it's not eight year show. The last season wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. It was all right, right? And we all knew it wasn't gonna be good because the main character isn't fucking there. You know, like there's always so much you can do. Now let's get to the Umbrella Academy. I didn't finish Umbrella Academy. Didn't finish it. I didn't want. I watched it all except for the last season, and I heard the last season was even good. Heard the ending's even dog shit. But based on what I remember from the show, based on what I remember with five, probably yeah, with five and all that, it wasn't terrible. I really vaguely remember the show. I watched it once after the not the last season came out, the season before that came out, and it was alright. But do I put it B or do I put it in the C tier? You know, it's really close. I'm putting B. I do think the first it could not be your cup of tea. I mean, this could be scheduled to change. I could drop it down to C, but I think I'll keep it in B for now. I think that feels right. Falcon Winter Soldier. It's definitely not a C tier. It had its moments. Decent show. Came out with Loki and all that. Give it a B tier. You know. Overall, decent show. Has highs, lows. It's an alright. It's not below average. It's an average show at best. Jessica Jones, put that in the same tier. Same kind of concept. Another superhero show, right? Super strong lady. Story was far. Damn. Season one for me was obviously good. Highs, lows, same thing as every single superhero show. It's hard to stay consistent throughout. I think speaking of consistency, that's one thing about Arrow and Daredevil compared to the rest of them is that it was consistent throughout, and I feel like that's very hard to do. A lot of people there's some highs and lows with Arrow, obviously, but it felt consistent. You know, you kind of got the vibe to it. Unlike every other superhero show, kind of you start to feel the dip. Every season takes a dip. Same victim, Jessica Jones. You get it, right? Original Sin is a prequel of Dexter. I it was alright. Was I kind of entertained? Yeah, but obviously it left a lot of plot holes. It did end. It was only one season. Wrapped it up. They didn't bother bringing it back. It's alright. I mean, it's actually below alright. It's Would I ever go back and rewatch it? Probably not. There's no need. There's no need to go out of your way and watch Original Sin, especially getting canceled now. Don't bother. Honestly speaking, just don't bother. It was really had some intriguing plot lines, but also it literally could be wasting your time. Supergirl, not even gonna bother, dude. I don't know. I was watching it off the simple fact of part of the Arrowverse. Never finished it. Don't bother planning on finishing it. I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't enjoy Supergirl. It definitely was the worst of it all, personally speaking. Luke Cage, saying it's the same concept, but the reason why it's a little worse because how much can you do with a guy who's basically invincible, right? There's only so much you could do with a guy who's basically fucking invincible. So you kind of have to hold out the grain of salt. Grain of salt. Season 1 wasn't bad. Season 2, like every single one of these shows, they all take dips, right? So there isn't consistency, and there isn't any consistency in the show. And as far as I know, that they don't plan on bringing it back. It just wasn't that great compared to the rest of them. It wasn't that great. Outside of Iron Fist, it blows it out the water. Friends, do you gotta talk about it? Everyone knows Friends at this point. It's an A-tier sitcom. Everyone knows fucking Friends. If you haven't watched Friends, go ahead and watch Friends. You'll enjoy it. For the most part, at least. I hope so. Hope so, anyway. But if you haven't watched Friends, go ahead and watch it. Top tier sitcom, start to finish, had plot lines, drama, the stories, the comedy, had it all, right? That's one thing. Full House kind of lacked. There wasn't that much drama. Friends had the drama, right? So if you're really into the drama, ish comes to sitcoms, go to Friends. Now, when it comes to Breaking Bad, I didn't finish it. I watched only the first two seasons of Breaking Bad. And now let me tell you, this might sound crazy. I didn't like the first two seasons of Breaking Bad. And everyone says season 3 through 5 are some of the greatest seasons of all time. I couldn't get past season 1 and 2. I had to force myself. And I don't like doing that when it comes to shows. I can't only force myself for so much longer until it gets better. It's too slow a build. 2 seasons I gave it, and I still couldn't get hooked. I might give it one more chance. I still don't know. It felt too slow. I'm putting it in C tier. It's, I guess maybe because my expectations are too high for a show that everyone was so critically acclaimed for. But damn, I did not enjoy those first 2 seasons. I really do plan on going back and watching them. But I really hope it does get better second time around. I'm praying it does. I'm gonna get to the Walking Dead in a second. I'm gonna get through these two. Lucifer, dog shit. I don't know how I enjoyed it the first time around. I will never watch Lucifer ever again. The idea of the devil walking around Earth and being basically a human lie detector. No, I fucking pass. On my block, save your time. Again, one of those kind of hyped up Netflix shows. I tuned in, hated my life. Watched all the seasons, hated my life. That shit was not entertaining to watch at all. Nothing in there was kind of nothing was intriguing in that show at all. Nothing was intriguing. It's another overhyped Netflix show that everyone and their moms is fucking talking about for some reason. Me personally, I will never give it a watch ever again. And now for The Walking Dead, a show I've watched 2 to 3 times already. I haven't finished though. The last season I watched was the one with Alpha and Beta, and that one wasn't really a great season. It goes back to the fact where you cannot have a show without its main character. I'm not sure if it comes back or not, but it goes back to that fact. You cannot have a show without its main character without its main character, your show goes to shit. And we saw that The Walking Dead. It wasn't terrible though. Don't get it twisted, because I felt they had Daryl, right, Maggie. You have those characters that can kind of be there to carry it on. And one thing about The Walking Dead, they'll kill a motherfucker off. They'll kill anyone off. The complete opposite of Stranger Things. It's damn near. It's probably up there with Lost, where they just feel like fuck it, someone's gonna die, and we can die at any given second. You would never expect it. So even if you're a main character or not, Walking Dead said fuck it, you're gonna die. You're gonna fucking die, and you're gonna feel it. That's one thing I like about the show. Based on what I watched, it's definitely an A tier show. No matter what you guys say, it survived as long as it did for a reason. And yes, it did have some fucking lows. But when you have such an iconic antagonist in Negan that everyone remembers, if you don't know the show, you know who the fuck Negan is. He had such a impact on just the TV show culture that you know who Negan is, and you enjoy the fact of who Negan is. So therefore, I'm putting in A tier. It would have been in my top 5 if I didn't just watch Lost and Dexter. Phenomenal shows, and those two shows are definitely above Walking Dead. Not just my favorites, just in general too, as shows. But yeah, that's it. That's all. I think 45 shows, all ranked. I would go through individually and put them in like tiers. Oh, what's above this? What's above this? But what's the point? A show is dog shit. So dog shit. If you're C, you understand why you're C. Same thing with B. A, based on what I've watched, same thing. And top 5 is my top 5. Argue with the fucking wall. And that's it. That's my final rankings. And as always, go hard on them dudes. Salute.